Right now outside we're dealing with Hurricane Arthur. Spiffy little mini hurricane. It's only category 1, I believe. It was actually a tropical storm, just switched over to a hurricane. So, it's a perfect setting for this next episode. Today we'll be going over a little game. It's an indie game, but it's very, very scary in its own aspect. Limbo, a game that not only disturbs by title association, but also story interpretation and setting. On today's episode of Scary Gaming, we'll be making what we can of a game that expects you to do just that. I usually like to pick a certain part, specific rumor, or myth in games that sends chills down your spine. Instead of one small piece, though, we'll be going over the whole puzzle. This episode's going to be entirely about one game. With this game, could you blame me, though? Limbo opens up with a boy in the woods, who awakens to realize he's lost his sister. There's no color in this forest, yet alone the whole world. It's very dark, full of threats, and open to assumption. As you progress the game, you get a sense that you're very small, in a large world filled to the brim with danger, from giant spiders to hostile, even suicidal enemies. The boy has a lot to deal with. As you traverse this strange world, you seem to get a bit of an understanding that things seem to be unusual. Gee, when did I catch on? Not in the sense of unusual that everything is gosh darn terrifying, but there seems to be something strange. When you get to the ending, though, strange becomes more of its own titan than just a small guest figure. After breaking through a pane of glass and sent all the way back to where we'd assumed the journey began, he finds his sister. By something on the ground, she suddenly stands up, seemingly surprised to see him, and the game ends. At the title screen, though, you can hear the sound of flies. This ending followed up by such a game is what gives it such a disturbing feeling. It's then you think, did the boy suffer some kind of accident? Was this whole journey just going through the afterlife from his perspective? Trying to find his lost sister, yet in the end realizing the world he suddenly found himself in was because of a mortal wound. A treehouse is seen behind them in the final scene, leading the player to think this world is just a backyard for the living but a personal limbo for the boy. Or could it be to symbolize what happened to the boy, or his sister? Even though I personally believe the previous statement, the game's creators have stated it's up to the player to interpret what they think. What do you think? Could it be due to an accident? Could it be the boy traveling through Limbo? Could his sister be in Limbo, standing over her own grave? Or however, whatever it could be. It's just so creepy in its own right. It's terrifying. Well, I don't know if it's terrifying. The world itself is terrifying, but let me know. I'd love to hear it. Especially with the supposed sequel called Inside having just been announced. Look up the trailer if you haven't seen it, because it's going to be a good game. It could have to do with this series as well, or they could do what they did and leave it up to interpretation. So, I hope you enjoyed. I really enjoyed making it. Any suggestions for future episodes, feel free to let me know. I've been Mr. Shiny Keys. Thanks for watching. Don't get too scared.